Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with allthingsbbq.com, and this is Pheasant Tinga Quesatacos. Well, today we're making tinga, the Mexican dish featuring tomatoes, chipotles and adobo, and onion. It's typically made with chicken or tinga de pollo, but today we're making it with pheasant. Pheasant that we harvested on our hunt back at Flint Oak a few months ago. Shout out to those guys again. Flint Oak, we had a great time. So while we're making pheasant tinga today, or tinga de pheasant, you could do this with chicken. If chicken's what you got at home, go for it. If you got pheasant in the freezer, awesome. Probably could do it with quail as well. I've also done it with chucker or partridge. So you got all kinds of options as far as the meat goes. As long as you got a bird around, you can make tinga. This is a super simple process where the birds are braised in the sauce. There's not much to it, so let's just get right into it. All right, so we're gonna pull our pheasant out of a brine that it's been soaking in overnight. Now, this is kind of an optional step, but it's great with these upland birds if you can get them a nice brine. They really kind of aren't quite so tough and take on some of that extra moisture. We simply just mixed up some of the Cattleman's Grill Butcher House brine with some water and let them soak overnight. Also got some legs in here left over from another cook. We're gonna throw those in the pot as well. Now these are gonna fit into our Dutch oven best if we break them down first. So I'm just gonna go ahead, separate the legs from the breasts. Now the backbone, that could go in there for extra flavor, but it's a pretty quick cook, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Now braised like this is a good use of these legs, which can be a little bit tougher. If I was using chicken, I'd probably use the thighs as well. All right, for the breasts, just gonna use some shears and clip this backbone out, and then we'll split the breast cavity. That stuff doesn't have to go to waste either. If you wanted to make a pheasant stock like you do a chicken stock, these would be great pieces to throw in there. So we're gonna leave the bone in on these. We'll pick the meat off of these after they're done braising, especially on this breast meat. It's gonna help to keep the bone in, so they'll cook just a little bit slower to match the speed of the legs and thighs. So we're gonna get our pheasant pieces into the Dutch oven, and then we're gonna switch to making the sauce that we're gonna braise these in. All right, so the bird is quartered, we're setting that aside, we're moving on to make the tinga sauce. So we've got 1.5 cups of just canned tomatoes, Italian style tomatoes. We've got 1.5 cups of chicken stock, a few cloves of garlic. We'll just crush these and take the skins off. 1/4 cup of chipotles and adobo, and a tablespoon of Mexican oregano. So all of this is just gonna go straight into the Vitamix. Chicken stock, tomatoes, chipotles, and adobo, my garlic, and the Mexican oregano. And then just to give us a nice flavor base on this, we can do about a tablespoon Cattleman's Mexicano. So very liquidy. Not yet a sauce, because this is also our braising liquid. Oh, that's nice. Nice chipotle heat to it. Tasting the garlic, Mexican oregano. Now typically what you'll see with tinga is that it's made with chicken that's been poached or boiled, and it's just, there's nothing else to it. I figured if we're going to be submerging our meat, whether it's pheasant or chicken, in something while we cook it, it might as well be the sauce. We let that sauce thicken while it cooks. You get a sauce out of it, you get more flavor into the meat. But today we're gonna be cooking on the Napoleon Prestige 500 Gas Grill. It's got a great side burner, and that's where we're gonna do our braising. So before we get the braise going, we're gonna start by putting down some of our chili infused oil and our sliced onions. So it's about 2 cups of sliced onions for what we're doing today. We want to get them started and then just kind of let them melt down in the braise as our pheasant is cooking. I'm going to hit this with just a little bit of our black garlic salt. Start to draw out some of that moisture. All right, we got a little bit of color and these onions are softening up, so I'm going to add our sauce now, our braising liquid. Then we're going to just start to nestle in our pheasant. So So had we just had 2 whole birds, that'd be fine, but those extra legs are fitting in there really nice as well. So I'm bringing the heat up a bit. We want this to come up to a simmer. We're just gonna keep it totally covered. When it starts bubbling, we can turn the heat back down, and then we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait until the internal temperature comes up to about 165 on the inside of the thickest part of each piece of meat. Well, some of these pieces are getting done already. It's been about 20 minutes we've been cooking here. The legs especially, I'm okay with these going 175. The breasts, we want to make sure we stop those around 165, 170. So these little pieces we're going to start pulling out while we let the rest finish. These larger pieces probably not quite there yet. Yeah, still in the 140s there. Yeah, these are going to do fine at a higher temperature. They'll pull a little bit easier, in fact. All right, last piece is coming out. These have been chilling out a little bit. We're going to get them shredded up here in just a minute. Our sauce is thickened considerably, but I'm just going to leave this on low and let it kind of simmer away for now. So breaking down our pheasant legs now, just kind of popping this joint and pulling. There's a lot of these really spiny bits of the tendons in the leg portion, so you're just going to pull the meat off of those and get rid of those. Obviously, if you're doing this with chicken, it's a lot easier, a little less time consuming, but one of the great things about doing this by hand is that shredding this, you can kind of keep your eye open for any shot that might have been left behind in the meat. Working on the last of the breasts now. These are quite a bit easier to take apart and just pull and shred those. Still retaining some moisture, which is really nice. That brine really helps out. The pile's about complete, so I'm gonna go grab that tinga sauce. The sauce is thickened up. That's looking really good. So we're gonna move our pheasant over to a bowl. Gonna pour some of this sauce over the top. Get those onions in there as well. I'll leave just a little bit of this sauce in the pot though. Just kind of work that into the pheasant meat, and it's just gonna soak it right up, all that flavor. Now that's gonna be some super juicy pheasant meat right there. That's beautiful. So the amount of sauce we got here really worked out perfect for what we're gonna do today. Because today we're gonna be making some quesatacos out of our pheasant. Now, typically with tinga, you're gonna see it most often served on a tostada, which is fantastic, but we're gonna do something a little bit different today, and that's called the quesataco, which is essentially just a little quesadilla with some extra toppings thrown in a smaller size cooked on the griddle. So quick rundown, here's how this is gonna work. We've got some fresh tortillas. We're gonna give them a dip in that sauce that's left over and then hit them on the griddle, and we'll start to build our quesatacos from there. All right, we get some oil down on the griddle. I'm gonna come over to our sauce here. Just a quick dip. And then we're gonna start to add our filling. So first thing I'm gonna come in with is some cheese, and we're using the Oaxaca cheese today. It's kind of got the consistency of like a mozzarella, like a lower moisture mozzarella, but it's more creamy, more buttery, kind of like a mix between mozzarella and jack cheese. We'll top that off with our pheasant tinga. And I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of pico de gallo. I throw a recipe in for this one, but it's really simple. Just diced tomatoes, onion, jalapeno, cilantro, and lime juice with some salt. Once we get those working, we can kind of close these up, build them full. And we just want to toast them and let that cheese melt down. All right, getting a nice crisp on there. Let's get these flipped over. as well move these back and get a few more going. Kind of feeling these for doneness now. Use just a little bit more crisp on the bottom, and that's really all we're looking for at this point, is everything inside staying nice and warm and that cheese is fully melted. Whoa, those are looking good. These guys in the back are done. Yeah, those feel nice. All right, let those finish up. Let's get a taste of these things. I'm just gonna finish this off with a little bit of queso fresco. Do a little drizzle of hot sauce. Get that flame volcano in there. Oh yeah. Nice smoky chipotle flavor. Cheesy. Such big tomato chipotle flavor in there. Oh man, and it's so warm. A nice crisp on the outside. The cheese skirt, that's a beautiful thing. It's got this creeping heat to it from the chipotles and adobo. It's not overwhelming, it's just there and kind of builds on you. But it goes great with that tomato flavor. And whether it's pheasant or chicken, you're gonna do great with either one of them. But especially for like an upland bird like this, great way to really pack a ton of flavor and moisture into that meat. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out allthingsbbq.com for all the products featured in today's video. If you enjoy the recipe, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments or there's anything you'd like to see me cook, let me know in the comment section down below, and let's be good to one another. For more recipes, tips, and techniques, head over to allthingsbbq.com/thesauce. All Things Barbecue, where barbecue legends are made.